Welcome everyone to the Gold and Silver Club weekly commodities review for the 12th of June 2015, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. Today, we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets. We'll be analysing the week's performance. The live session will be covering an overview of the commodities markets. We'll be covering the top trades of the week. We'll also be doing live commentary and technical analysis. And of course, if you have any questions at all, do post those in the chat, and we'll also do our best to answer those throughout the session today too. Okay, so first of all, before we get started, let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. We are an international commodities trading, research and advisory group specializing in the precious metals, the energies, the agricultural markets. The Gold and Silver Club is recognized as a leading go-to authority on commodities, and as internationally respected experts, our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies, agricultural markets are routinely sought by major financial television channels, publications, including Bloomberg, Reuters, CNN, Global Banking and Finance Review, and the Wall Street Journal, to name a few. Our team of experts has advised and taught technical analysis, fundamental research, and portfolio management to more than 50,000 private and institutional clients worldwide. Of course, for further information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please do go to our website, www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Great. Okay, right. Moving on, we are going to go through the current price of gold at the moment. So if we have a look right now, we can see gold is currently trading at 1,179 US dollars per ounce. So we'll take a look at that very shortly, just on the technicals too. We've had a very interesting week, and we're coming into a major news announcement from the US next week, which is, of course, the FOMC statement, which is going to be taking place next Wednesday, the 17th of June. And this is going to be a major market mover for the precious metals next week. So it's definitely a major event which you want to have in your diary for next week. So before we go into that and go into more details on the technicals, I'll just go through the top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies. They are as follows. So first of all, we had a lovely sell short opportunity just last week on gold. This followed through very nicely indeed on non-farm payroll last Friday. We came all the way down to our profit target, a sell of 210 points. You can see where we've broken down just from the upper resistance channel, and we came all the way back down to the lower end of the channel. And I'll show you that on the technical shortly, some additional setups which are starting to line up as well. We also had a lovely breakout trade on light sweet crude oil, which was delivered very quickly actually over Monday and Tuesday this week. 250 point breakout trade back up to resistance, and we hit that resistance, and then we're actually just bouncing off that level at the moment, and we'll take a look at that shortly too. And we had a very similar breakout trade which we took on Brent crude oil, broke out of a downward trending channel. The momentum earlier on this week was very bullish for oil, so we had two good breakout trades, 225 point gain on this for Brent. So what we'll do next, we'll move over to the technicals. We'll have a look at the charts. We'll have a look at some of the setups which are lining up as we go into next week here, and as we go into the US session this afternoon as well. Okay, so first market we'll start off with today. We'll have a look, in fact, first of all, just at the gold market. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. Right, the first market we'll have a look at here is going to be gold. So what you'll note on gold at the moment is that we're just tending to ricochet between support and resistance channels for the time being. We've range since the end of May, and this is very common for June to see weakness, particularly to come into the end of May, and especially June tends to be one of the weakest months of the year for commodities and the precious metals in particular. We've certainly seen this play out. What we're getting at the moment is just a staircase pattern here, or bearish flag pattern, where you're just seeing the market will break down, it will consolidate across, and then it will just break down again. It will consolidate across, and then it will just break down again. So we're definitely seeing this staircase pattern playing out at the moment. It looks like this time we're getting a retest of the upper end of the trend channel, a bit of a bearish flag pattern forming here as well, where we could just easily break down again. So we're keeping an eye on that this afternoon. We're going to look at the US dollar in inverse correlation this afternoon as well. I would also be mindful of the upper end of the trend channel. If we were to get any sort of heavy breakout from this channel. It's often the case that we just tend to consolidate prior to the FOMC statement, which is going to be next week on Wednesday. But if we do see a breakout from this trend channel, similar to what we saw on Brent and light sweet crude oil this week, particularly on Brent crude oil, and I'll show you that very shortly. If we do get a breakout of the trend channel, then we could expect an explosive move to the upside. However, if we just see the weekly lows taken out here, we could easily just drop down here on gold all the way back to the lower end of the channel and get a significant breakdown. Actually, will get us quite low to the 4-year lows here on gold, and that could be very explosive for next week as we go into the FOMC statement on Wednesday. So this, for me, is definitely a market to watch today. We're at a decision point. We may either consolidate prior to FOMC next week, in which case we'll see very tight price structure here, and we won't move much, and we'll stay around the current prices, or we'll get a breakdown today and we'll come all the way down within this overall downward trend channel, or we get a breakout from resistance. I think it's going to be difficult for gold really to get a full-on breakout from resistance here without any major news. If it was non-farm payroll today or FOMC, that could do it, but we really don't have any major announcements which are really capable of being gold a good breakout at the moment, unless we get something which is completely unscheduled, some news announcement which just sees gold suddenly spike as a safe haven. Otherwise, I think we'll consolidate or break down. So that's one to watch. Silver is already started to break down. We've been consolidating again. We've just been tending to ricochet here between support and resistance. Very clean channel, downward trending channel. You can see here staircase pattern, consolidating, breakdown, consolidating, breakdown, consolidating, and now we're just waiting really to see whether we'll get another breakdown. We are getting a bit close to the lower end of the channel here. It might be a little bit limited on the downside here for silver. I would like to see whether the US dollar gets a move on this afternoon and whether that creates some pressure here for silver, or whether we just continue to consolidate. I will show you the US dollar index. So you can see, in fact, the US dollar index at the moment, it is following some fairly strong channels which have been in place going back to about mid-May at the moment. You can see where we're just bouncing off this channel at the moment. We've got definitely horizontal support here on the chart as well. You can see we've had a couple of bounces off a very specific level just twice within the last about 10 days. And we're following a trend channel. What the US dollar needs to do now in order to cause some pressure for the metals is it needs to break out of its weekly highs here. So if it can get a breakout, the weekly highs, you can see it even came up to test that level just earlier on today. If we can break out from the highs from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in fact, no, this would be Tuesday, so you've got Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday's candle. We just need to breach above those candles to the upside this afternoon in order to really pick up the pressure to the upside for the US dollar and pick up downward pressure on the metals. That's what we'll be looking at, that inverse correlation this afternoon. If we give the other metals a quick view just to have a look at some of the correlations which we're seeing at the moment. Platinum, it's not far away at all from breaking down again from 2015 lows. We came and retested that just last Friday, and it bounced off that level with very tight accuracy. We came right off that level, which we found support at the 17th of March. Obviously, a lot of buyers and also traders taking profit at that zone, that key support zone. So platinum looking interesting. It looks like it's starting to come back for a retest of support. So if platinum does come back and it breaks through this supportive channel, we're likely to start to really build up some momentum. You're going to really be taking the legs out of platinum here. You're going to be flushing out stop losses, and it's likely we'll get a bigger move to the downside. However, if it does hold, if support holds, we're just seeing a ricocheting between support and resistance at the moment. We may see a rotation all the way back up to the upper end of the channel. Again, I really think the major trade opportunity here is going to be next Wednesday's FOMC statement. We could just consolidate on a lot of markets now through to Wednesday until we get that FOMC statement, which will be delivered by Janet Yellen at the Federal Reserve. So that will be very lucrative. And we'll talk a bit more about that towards the end of the session. Right, we'll move over and have a look at palladium as well, just for the correlation. So you see palladium also has broken down so far. The first 12 days of June have been pretty bearish. We're just sitting around a key support zone, consolidating about 4 days here. Again, if we do get a break of this consolidation, likely to really start to build up some momentum to the downside and possibly take out the lows from March. That's one to watch. Copper really broke down significantly yesterday, had a good sell-off. We're back to the April lows here at the moment. You can see there's a much larger V-shaped reversal pattern playing out at the moment. I'm keeping my my channels in for now, just in case we get any breakouts back to these levels. We may see them play out as resistance, but there are new channels developing now with copper as well as it continues to break down. So you'll note that we are We've got some parallel channels actually we can just draw on the chart at the moment from this recent breakdown in price. So you can see where it's starting to follow a new channel to the downside here. Now, copper is a big mover on FOMC statements as well. So this will, again, we're looking for a nice opportunity for a trade as we go into Wednesday next week. But for the time being, it had a pretty big bearish candle yesterday. If we break the lows of yesterday's just sell off here, you'll see often momentum continue to the downside. We'll probably come all the way down to the lower end of the trend channel. So after you've seen such a significant down day here, if you just break the lows of this candle, we're likely just get a continuation. So that's what we'll have a look for today. Moving over to oil here, your notes. We'll move it. We start off with light sweet crude oil. So this is the breakout trade we took last week. So for those of you on last week's session as well, you'll note we were just talking about this consolidation zone. We're just moving between support resistance. It's working out really well, these supportive channels. You can see how well a lot of traders looking at these trend lines on oil at the moment. You can see how accurate these bounces were, and then we've got a resistance channel. We just came up to resistance. This is where we took profit, and then we've just formed an inverse hammer here and rejection of the resistance zone, break down again. So what we could see is a breakdown back towards the lower end of the trend channel. However, I would be mindful that we've got the Baker Hughes rig count coming out this afternoon, and that can cause volatility for oil. So at the moment, we're just continuing to watch how that data affects the oil price later on this afternoon. But we certainly had a nice buy opportunity this week for a breakout back up to resistance. Very similar situation also with Brent crude oil, with breakout of the downward trending channel earlier on this week. Had a nice breakout trade. You can see also we're just forming some rejection at the moment. It's a little bit overextended on the daily here. I would be curious to see whether we will get some sort of support this afternoon from the Baker Hughes rig count. So we'll keep an eye on that. You can see potential for a little bit of a bounce if we find support this afternoon. Typically, once we've broken out of a channel like this, which has been in play for about a month or so, once it's broken out, you can get a retest of it before it keeps it going. But typically, these breakouts do have good follow through. So I'm not looking to short oil at the moment. But we'll see how that develops this afternoon. The grains have been really good over this week. We've seen a good breakdown on corn from the upper end of its trend channel earlier on this week, which we're continuing to sell at the moment. So that'll probably be another top trade for next week. We're just targeting the lower end of the channel at the moment, so we're in this trade right now. Similar situation really on wheat right now, where we're continuing to see we've got a breakdown. We're coming back towards the lower end of the channel here, but it's ricocheting between its support and resistance channels really well. And finally, in fact, let me just also bring to your attention, we'll have a quick look at coffee as well, which is also breaking down today. So coffee following quite good channels as well. Another trade which we quite like. The overall price structure here, you've got a nice breakdown in price. We come and retested the upper end of this channel for coffee just yesterday, and we're starting to build up some momentum to the downside. So you can see that where we're starting to break down. I'm seeing coffee just come all the way back. It's just ricocheting really well between support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, and which couldn't break out again. And now we're looking just to take this all the way back down to the lower end of the trend channel there. So there's plenty of opportunities today as we go into the US session. And of course, next week will be the big one, which is where we're going to be looking for some major opportunities on the precious metals, the FOMC statement. So let me just talk you through that a little bit more detail. But those are the major setups that we see as we come into next week here and into the US session this afternoon. So the live trading room that we host at the Gold and Silver Club, providing live analysis, live trading ideas, live support, trades being taken live. We are going to be, as well as the live trading rooms we host throughout the week, we've also got next Wednesday's FOMC statement, which will be trading live with all of our traders at the Gold and Silver Club. Just to put it in context, last year on the FOMC statement, June broke out. Gold broke out in June on the FOMC statement, 400 points within 24 hours. It was a huge trading opportunity that we caught, a lovely breakout. The previous year, going back to June 2013, gold dropped 900 points on that announcement in 48 hours. So it's a very lucrative trade announcement. We often get some huge moves on that, and you want to be able to take advantage of that. So if you would like to join us for that upcoming live trading room next week. It's on Wednesday. We are taking new applications from Monday is the deadline for new applications of that. So you can join us for Wednesday's FOMC statement so we can get you set up in time for this trading opportunity. Very simply, to join the Gold and Silver Club live online trading room, just go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, enrollment is by application only. Complete the enrollment form, and of course we'll get in touch with you ASAP. And Hassan, I'm also just going to put the email there for you, office@thegoldandsilverclub.com. And do reach out to us on that as well. We can certainly get you set up in time for next Wednesday's session once we've received your application. Okay, perfect. Right, so once you filled out that form, very straightforward. You'll just go to an enrollment page, www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Once that has been filled out, take you less than a minute to fill out. You'll get a call, and we look forward to welcoming you, of course, to the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, guys, so that is it for today's session. So quite excited about the opportunities coming up next week. This afternoon, there's already quite a few trades in play, which are looking very good here. And I would say new opportunities to look out for in the coming week would definitely be on the precious metals. Okay, guys, so good trading. Have a profitable one. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next session. And for those of you who are going to be joining us next week, definitely look forward to welcoming you to the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, take care, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.